What's good? Welcome to another episode of King Talk. I want to have serious conversation with y'all today about a topic that most people find very, very, very hard to cope with. They find it very, very hard to comprehend it, and most importantly, they find it very, very hard to accept. But I'm gonna lay out everything for y'all today. I want y'all to love, and I want y'all to continue to love, but I want y'all to continue to learn how to love and operate with a sense of detachment. King Lewis, what do you mean by that? How in the world can you tell me to let go of all my attachments to things that I hold so dearly and hold so close to me? Understand this, nigga. Everything in this life that's given to you can be taken away. The universe gives. The universe also takes away. Everything in this life, all the way down to material, family, friends, relationships, nothing in this world is fucking permanent, nigga. Understand that. Everything must come to an end. Why must it come to an end? Because we are born into an imperfect world. We're born into a world where this is the punishment because of our sin. The price of sin is death. And unfortunately, this is the reality that we must succumb to. Now, this is the reason why we need a higher power to serve. This is the reason why we need a higher being, a supreme order, and somebody that we can serve and look up to. Because this entity, this supernatural entity that's able to do what we can't, will help preserve those attachments. Everything in this life that's given to you can be taken away. Nothing in this life is permanent. Things that you hold dear, close, and dearly to you. Your fucking materials, your house, your clothes, your cars, your jobs. You work them, but at some point, you get fired. At some point, it breaks down. Your family, those that you close to you, those that you love, eventually at some point, they have to pass away. And you have to prepare yourself mentally to accept that. Your friends, they might not be the people that you thought that they was after a certain time. Or after a while, there might come a situation where their ugly head might come out as far as supernatural, and you might reveal certain things about them that you never knew was really there. Eventually, you might have to gravitate. Even if y'all don't break all bad bonds and stuff like that, that friend might end up moving away. Something might end up happening to that person. Even all the way down to relationships. The person that you're in love with might not even be the person that you're meant to be with forever. Maybe just a certain time period being. At some point in time, even if you are close enough to manage your marriage and make it last to the point where you feel like it's forever, till death do you part. At some point, you're going to come to that point in a relationship where things might not work out. You might grow tired of her. She might grow tired of you. You gravitate towards somebody else. Nothing in this life is permanent. People are temporary. Things in this life are temporary. The only thing permanent is a supreme being that can give you life. And not just any life, eternal life. This is the reason why you need a supreme being. This is the reason why we have to serve a God. Because without that, we can't hold dear to these attachments. This is the reason why I tell you guys, and why I try to teach the principle in this kingship of learning to love and being able to do it with a sense of detachment. And what I mean by that is, you have to mentally prepare yourself. You have to mentally prepare yourself for the fact that everything that you love in this life, or everything that is in this part, or part of this life, must come to an end. It must come to an end. This is the price of our sin. This is where we are in reality. This is our matrix. This is where we develop ourselves and where we decide that we want to cohabit our living in a realm like this. We messed it up with our disobedience. This is what we have here. Therefore, everything in this life must come to an end. Understand that attachment is a root of suffering. What do you mean by that, Lil King Lewis? You don't suffer behind things that you aren't really attached to, behind things that don't really mean anything to you. You can have somebody that you're a close relative with, but because you don't have any deep memories, no bonds, no nothing like that, the fact that they passed or something happened to them, it means nothing to you. But if they're close to you and you hold them close to your heart and you hold that attachment and then you end up giving everything and then everything is taken away from you, It means a whole lot more deal of pain than it does for something that you don't really have any relatory type of bond with. Understand that. Attachment is a root of suffering. To be detached is to be beyond birth and death in consciousness. You must learn to accept this theory if you're willing to be able to live wholeheartedly and be able to continue to keep yourself happy in a world like this. Understand that everybody that you love will die at some point. Understand in your relationships, you might have to end up letting that go at some point. Understand that there is a possibility. I'm not saying that there's not a possibility that in this world, God will allow you to be able to keep all those things that you hold dearly to you, that you love so dearly. But at the end of the day, you have to realize that at some point in this reality, before things can be given back to you, first they must be taken away. And everything that be taken away from you, you're not sure to get it back. Some people that you love dearly, as much as you love them, after death, they might not be going to the same place that you're going to go to. Understand that there is a heaven here. And understand that there is a hell here. Why? Because they're good. You find both good values and you find evil values on earth. They're both here. This is the borderline. This is the battleground. This is the war zone that we live in. You live in the borderline between hate and evil. Between good and hate. They both coexist here. Understand that. Understand that in this reality, everything is given to you and everything can be taken away. You must learn to accept that nothing in this life is permanent. Everything will be taken from you. And the only way to be able to get that back or hold dear to your attachments is if you serve a higher power that has the power to be able to give you that. And even with that power, that doesn't mean that everything that you hold attached to you will continue to be given back to you. Because you might go to a heaven, but the one you love might fall victim to hell. Understand what it means to love with a sense of detachment. It doesn't mean that, oh, I refuse to love you at all. What it means is I love you, but I love you with the consciousness, with the acceptance, and with the theory, with the comprehension, and the understanding that in this life, nothing is really permanent. I was born into this world alone, and I'm going to die alone. That's what that means. And the only way I can retrieve that is by serving a higher power that will give me back life even after death. This world is a playground. Where we're living at, this is not going to be heaven forever. This was the original first heaven, but unfortunately, it will become hell. Everything in this life, your body, your vessel, it must be left behind. You must practice detachment. This is the only way that you can prevent your suffering. You deeply involve and invest yourself too much, too quickly, and without a cause, simply because of your need and your desire for acceptance, simply because of your need and your desire to have a sense of belonging. Understand that as a human being, as a soul, as a spirit, God gets lonely too. This is the reason why he created man in his own image, so that he won't have to be alone. You're made to fellowship. You're made to belong. It's part of your human nature to be able to be here and have somewhere where you can have an attachment. But if you don't practice detachment, and what I mean by detachment, the understanding of detachment, the acceptance of detachment, the understanding that everything in this life will be taken away from you, even though it was given to you. Everything that you love at some point, everything that you see in this world, it has to come to an end. This is the punishment for our sin. Understand what it means to love with a sense of detachment. I will continue to love as long as I have purity in my heart. But I already know that half of those that I love, once I cross the gates of heaven, I won't see them again. That's if God blesses me to be able to walk through. Understand that everybody that I love and all those that I hold dear to me, my family, at some point, they have to pass. Friends, at some point, you might have to move away. Prevent your suffering. Prevent your suffering through the mentality of detachment. This is the only way that you can prevent this type of theory in order to keep yourself happy, in order to keep yourself in understanding, in order to have spiritual enlightenment. You will not be able to have it any other way. You have to practice this. The universe gives, but the universe also takes. Acceptance is key. Your material, your family, your friends, your relationships, they are all temporary. People, they come and they go. Things, they come and they go. Material, they come and they go. Places, they come and they go. You go to and fro places. The only thing that's permanent in this life is the Supreme Being. And this is the only way that you'll be able to find the key to what it means to have eternal life.